What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the DC edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we talk about all things matter to me in the world of DC comic book films. This is episode number 6, and we got a lot to talk about because what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to recap on some of the big announcements that took place over the last week. And this is with regards to, of course, an announcement of a whole lineup of DC comic book films that are going to happen from 2016 all the way to 2020. I want you guys to remember this name. His name is Kevin Tsujihara. He is the Warner Brothers chairman and CEO. In other words, he is kind of like the equivalent of Kevin Feige as to Marvel Studios. But except that Kevin Tsujihara is actually, he doesn't just represent DC films, he represents Warner Brothers as a whole. And he went on the press. There was an official press release where he announced what's going to happen with the future of Warner Brothers in terms of their big movies and franchises from 2016 all the way to 2020. Now, this included a lot of DC comic book films along with some other big franchise films. But what we're going to talk about here is the announcement of those DC films. So let's just start with, of course, we already know about this, but this is what we have, which starts off the lineup, is of course Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, which comes out on March 25th, 2016. Now they have already locked in a number of dates all the way from 2016 to 2020. We just didn't know what they were going to be. Now that's why there is this official press release where they have announced all those films. So let's just start off with August 5th, 2016, and that would be The Suicide Squad, which will be the first DC movie coming after Batman vs. Superman, and it is directed by Fury director David Ayer. Okay, so that's August 5th, 2016. We're going to see Suicide Squad. Okay, and then next, on June 23rd, 2017, we're going to see the Wonder Woman standalone film starring Gal Gadot as Diana, aka Wonder Woman. Okay, moving on November 17th, 2017, we are going to see Justice League Part 1. That is right, I said Justice League Part 1. And they're kind of following suit to what Marvel Studios is doing. Obviously, Justice League's official competitor is what are they called again? Oh, the Avengers. And with the rumors about Avengers 3 going to be split in two, or the possibility of Avengers 3 and 4, DC decided to follow suit. So there's going to be Justice League Part 1, and there's going to be Justice League Part 2. I'm going to tell you the date later on. Justice League Part 1 will be directed by Zack Snyder, who directed Man of Steel and is also, of course, directing Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. And then in March 23rd of 2018, there will be The Flash, starring Ezra Miller as the title character. Okay? And then moving on in the same year, July 27th, 2018, there will be the Aquaman solo movie starring Jason Momoa. So that is going to be very interesting. Who knows how that is going to do because, Aquaman has a lot of fans, but out of the entire Justice League, Aquaman is, I don't know, he's kind of like at the bottom of the list. I know some fans will disagree, but he's not a high-flying superhero. He's not someone with like powers like Superman, or he's not cool like Batman. I mean, he stays in the water, but he's also a very unique superhero. So Aquaman will have a solo movie, and it's going to be very fascinating to see how that turns out. And then moving on to 2019, April 5th, 2019, we'll see the Shazam movie. Shazam will be starring Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson will be playing Black Adam, and that will be released on April 5th of 2019. So we're really going out there. We're already talking about 2019, okay? Also in 2019, on June 14th of the same year, Justice League Part 2 will be released. So Justice League Part 1 is being released on November 17, 2017. 2 years later, on on June 14th of 2019, Justice League Part 2 will be released and will also be directed by Zack Snyder. Now, what's going to happen, most likely, is that it's going to be filmed back-to-back. Okay, that's what I'm thinking, all right? Now, we're going to move on to 2020 now. April 3rd, 2020 sees the release of the Cyborg film starring Ray Fisher as Cyborg. And we will first see Cyborg in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And then we'll see him again, I'm guessing. We're going to see him again in the Justice League films, Part 1 and Part 2. And finally, he will get his solo film in Cyborg, which will be released on April 3rd of 2020. And what's also coming out on 2020 is on June 19th, we will see Green Lantern. This will be the Green Lantern solo film, and it will also be a reboot, because it will be completely different and separate from the universe that was created from the Ryan Reynolds version of Green Lantern. So it's completely different. I'm guessing it's completely different, but it will definitely see a different version of Green Lantern, and that will be coming out on June 19th, 2020. Now, I've just announced all these different solo films, but you're probably thinking, wait a minute, where is the solo Batman film as well as the sequel to Man of Steel? Well, those are actually coming, but they haven't announced those dates because they actually are not sure when to put them in. And also, how they're going to fit them into, between 2016 and 2020. That is 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. That's 5 years, and it's a very busy schedule. So apparently they want to find a way to fit both Batman and the Man of Steel sequel somewhere within those 5 years. But the logistics of it isn't that easy, because it has to be a story. It has to be a movie with a story that actually fits in that timeline, okay? All the Avengers solo films, whether it be Phase 1 or Phase 2, it happens chronologically, leading up to the Avengers 1 and to the Avengers Age of Ultron and then to the Avengers 3. It happens chronologically, all right? So when they decide to insert Batman and the Man of Steel sequel into this timeline between 2016 and 2020, it has to follow that timeline. So that is the challenge. So who knows when that's going to happen, but I always thought they were going to have a Batman film in 2020. And I always felt that they were going to have a Superman, or rather a Man of Steel sequel somewhere in the middle. All right? When it's going to happen, that's still left in the air, but it is happening, okay? What you're seeing here is a very aggressive move that Warner Brothers is doing with their DC film franchises, and they are definitely doing this because of what Marvel has been doing in the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of action on the Marvel Studios front, and DC hasn't really done a whole lot. So now here is their move, and it is currently checkmate. All right, so let's see what happens next, and you will see what happens next when I put out the new video for the Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show, because we're going to talk about some more stuff that has happened over the last couple of weeks with these big comic book movie announcements. So there you have it. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about another Batman and Man of Steel sequel movie happening? And when do you think it should happen? I think that it's a very sensitive thing, because you don't want it to happen too soon, but you also don't want it to happen too late. It's got to fall in somewhere in the middle, and at the right time. So when do you think it'll happen? When will be the right time to put in a Batman and a Man of Steel sequel, which actually also falls in line with the story, or rather telling the story of these other DC films? Let me know in the comments section below, and which movie are you looking forward to in the list that I have announced. Now, if you're interested in knowing this timeline or rather the schedule of releases of these films, make sure you hit the like button on the Ragin Nation Facebook page, and then click on the notes. There is a schedule of all the release dates that I've just announced, along with other films that are some big films that are coming out for all the way to 2020, from now till 2020. All right, so check out that schedule, put those dates on your calendar, and stay up to date with all the big films that are coming out. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. I got Instagram. You can follow me at The Ragin Nation, and also make sure you stay tuned for DC edition number 7, because we are gonna follow up on talking about more details about these films that I've talked about. So there you have it. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. The actors and the characters, I actually thought everybody did a great job. Everybody was very unique with their roles. In fact, I personally believe